Good morning, Manoj sir. Good morning, Suresh sir.
Very good morning, sir. Very good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Very
I
good
think
morning,
we are sharp 10:30. If chief guest and convener accepts, we'll start the session so that all the things can be parallelly hooked up. Okay, so Shakti, I think you can take it forward.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, very good morning to everyone. I'm Dr. Satyavadi from the Clinosol team. Will host this webinar today, and I can assure you all that this Sunday is going to fuel your curiosity and unlock new horizons in clinical data science. So, I'm delighted to extend my warmest welcome to the chief guest, Dr. Suresh Kumar, convener Professor Dr. Anshu Banerjee, and Dr. Manoj Kumar, and our resource persons, CS Mujibuddin, Uma Priya, and Alma Syed ma'am, and the participants who are the champions of today's webinar. So this webinar is titled Unraveling the Pathways of Clinical Data Science and Career Guidance, organized by Guru Kashi University in association with Clinosol Research Private Limited. So Guru Kashi University is recognized from UGC and NAC A++. So empowering students through unparalleled education journey is their vision. So let's dissect the first and title of the webinar, Unravel the Pathways in Clinical Data Science, and then dwell deeper into the coming up webinar, which you are eager to. So we come across many sciences like computer science, social science, environmental science. So nowadays we apply science everywhere to understand the behavior and pattern and test the hypothesis. So in the era of data-driven world, there is an increased reliance on data analysis and informed decision making. In the rapidly evolving healthcare landscape, the integration of data science into clinical practice has become increasingly vital. So this webinar aims to shed light on the intricate pathways of clinical data science, exploring its significance, applications, and the future prospects in revolutioning healthcare delivery and patient outcomes. So as we embark on this enlightening journey through the realm of clinical data science, we look forward of the participants in active participation. So thank you for your attention and we eagerly anticipate your presence throughout the webinar till the end. So I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Suresh Kumar. So our chief guest. So yes, Dr. Suresh Kumar has completed his M.Pharmacy and PhD from Punjab University, and he has worked as a scientist in NPRD division of Pancreas Biotech Limited. Having 21 years of teaching and research experience, presently he is working at the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Drug Research, Punjab University. He has published 101 research papers in national and international journals, and he has authored one book, Herbal Drug Technology for B Pharmacy, 6 semester students as per Pharmacy Council of India syllabus, and 2 book chapters. So he has successfully completed 3 major research projects funded by DST and UGC New Delhi. So he has been invited from Innovative Research Foundation as keynote speaker and program coordinator in international conference at Goa. And the list goes on. So because of the time restriction, I would like to hand over to sir to take on from here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for very nice introduction of mine. First of all, I'm very thankful to the management of Guru Kashi University in general, and Professor Anshu Banerjee and Professor Manoj Catwell in specific, not only for inviting me, but also providing me this opportunity to interact with all of you. Thank you very much.
Suresh sir,
Yes.
if I can ask, is there any surrounding noise or YouTube which is playing? Can you put it on mute so that because we are listening somewhere, some audio is coming.
No, not from my side.
By any chance, have you opened any other tab on internet where YouTube is running? So there will be
not nearby mine. It's not
in
nearby.
your laptop, sir. In your laptop, if you have connected with YouTube in internet.
Yeah, one site
Yes,
was open.
there is a YouTube which is running in your screen because we are able to hear the same voice which you are talking 2 minutes back. Yeah, I think now it is good. Perfect. Thank you, sir. No, I think it's still running.
Just wait for a minute. Huh?
Yeah. YouTube So I think
Yes,
sir,
yes. Now I think
now absolutely fine.
fine. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Actually, one of my family member has opened YouTube. Actually, that's why. I'm sorry about that. So I'm very thankful to all of you. And yes, I was with all of you. Clinical data science and career guidance. Today we are discussing here. The theme of the webinar really is very relevant and need of our for pharmacy professionals, especially. Actually, the collaboration of Clinosol Research Private Limited, a clinical research career catalyst, with this event is highly appreciated. I take this opportunity to thank Ms. Uma Priya, Director, Clinosol, Mr. C.S. Mazubidin, Founder and CEO, Clinosol, and Almas Saeed, Senior Consultant, Clinosol, speakers and resource person of the event. Dear friends, pharmacist is a very important person for healthcare system of any country. Pharmacists play a key role in healthcare system. Believe me, without pharmacist, healthcare system of any country, whether it is a developed country or developing country, will collapse. Remember my words. If you love your health, start loving your profession, being healthcare professionals. This is for pharmacy students joining this program. If you don't believe me, then imagine this earth without pharmacist. Everything is same, but there is no pharmacist on this earth. What will happen actually? After 10 years or 20 years, if there is another outbreak like Corona, COVID-19, who will give you new medicines? Who will give you new generation antibiotics? I'm not saying that pharmacist is a god, but believe me, a morally and ethically sound pharmacist is not less than a god. Check the history of pharmacy, then you will understand what services pharmacists have rendered to the society. Feel proud to be a pharmacist. Because I am a pharmacy person, so it's my duty to sensitize all of you towards the pharmacy profession. Yes, clinical trials are the most important phase of drug development, whether these are synthetic drugs or herbal drugs. Considering importance of clinical trials for ASU drugs of Indian systems of medicine, the government has included Schedule Z in Drug and the Cosmetic Act very recently. To conduct clinical study, it is prerequisite to have a good protocol design for clinical trials. Exploring the role of data sciences in clinical trials and clinical research seems to be a viable approach. So today our eminent speaker will highlight the insight about clinical data sciences and their applications in the clinical trial. This has now become an important field where students can make their career. I hope the speakers today in this event will emphasize on the career prospects of data sciences, clinical data sciences in the field of clinical trials. Yes, being Secretary of APTI Punjab State Branch, it is my duty to tell you about the achievements of APTI Punjab State Branch. Actually, Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India came into existence about more than 60 years back. Later on, various state branches were established. And APTI Punjab State Branch was established in 2004-5 session, but it remained inactive up to December 2013. In 2013, in December 2013, under the leadership of Professor R.K. Goyal from Punjabi University, Patiala, past president of APTI Punjab State Branch, and myself, secretary, I'm continuing secretary also, took initiative to start APTI Punjab chapter again. A team was made. We started working for the betterment of pharmacy teachers in Punjab state with the mandate of APTI of spreading awareness of pharmacy profession and enhancing and updating knowledge and skills in pharmacy teachers. APTI Punjab conducted 5 annual conventions, 5 international programs, 16 seminars, a series of lectures by international guests, many faculty development programs, and workshops in various pharmacy institutes of Punjab. APTI Punjab State Branch organized a mega event of pharmacy, Indian Pharmaceutical Congress IPC 2017, in association with APTI Haryana at Chitkara University, Punjab. The contribution of APTI Punjab in uplifting pharmacy profession is recognized in 2019 in DIT Dehradun, and APTI Punjab was awarded as best APTI branch amongst more than 20 state branches of APTI. Within 6 years, we became the best branch of APTI. We have more than 600 life members of APTI in Punjab state. With the support of all pharmacy institutes and faculty members of Punjab, we are still working hard to make pharmacy profession proud, and I'm sure we will create history by rendering our selfless services to the society. At last, I would like to say that pharmacy is not a course. It is a full-fledged profession, but it has not received the recognition which it deserves. एक शायर ने बहुत खूब कहा है बड़े तीखे अंदाज में, गिराना है तो हमें कुछ इस तरह से गिराओ कि फिर हम संभल ना पाए. गिराना है तो हमें कुछ इस तरह से गिराओ कि फिर हम संभल ना पाए. कहीं ऐसा ना हो हम संभल गए तो कोई नया इतिहास ना लिख जाए. So believe me, history has been created and created by pharmacists. Please read the history of pharmacy. You will understand what services these pharmacy pharmacists have rendered to the society. So thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me at this program. And I'm really proud to be a part of this program. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And God bless all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So with this, I would like to introduce Dr. Manoj Kumar. He is the life member of Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers India. Currently, he is serving at University College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Guru Kashi University, Bathinda, Punjab. He is editor and reviewer in 9 pharmaceutical journals and received prestigious awards like Best Faculty Award by 9 Science and Technology Awards and Young Professor of the Year by Global School Awards 2020, and also National Researcher Award in Pharmacy Education 2024 by PR and Marketing Group. He has more than 100 plus publications and also 350 plus seminars and webinars. So with this, I would like to hand over to Manoj Kumar sir to provide a short speech.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. On the behalf of Guru Kasi University, Talwandi Sabo, Bhatinda, Punjab, I, Dr. Manoj Kumar Katwal, Head, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the worthy respected dignitaries, officials, guests, faculty members, staffs, and the students for joining this webinar. I would like to express my heartiest gratitude to our worthy Chancellor of Guru Kasi University, Sardar Gurlab Singh Sidhu sir, our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Surinderjit Kaur Baba Madam, esteemed Registrar, Professor Dr. Jaktar Singh Dhiman sir, our Dean Pharmacy, Health and Allied Sciences, Professor Dr. Angshu Banerjee sir, our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Suresh Kumar sir, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, and Secretary of Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, APTI Punjab branch, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. C.S. Mujibuddin, CEO and founder of Clinosol Research Private Limited, Dr. Uma Priya, co-founder and director, Clinosol Research Private Limited, Dr. Almas Saeed, senior training consultant, Clinosol Research Organization, Madam Sakti, the part of Clinosol Research Organization, all dear faculty member, staffs, HODs, coordinator, students, and everyone, all participants all over the India. I would like to thank everyone for joining this webinar. Near about 500 plus participants have joined, and it is streaming live on YouTube. So it's my heartiest welcome everyone on the behalf of Guru Kasi University. Now, I would like to tell something about our university. The Guru Kasi University has been founded by Balaji Education Trust, Talwandi Sabo, which was established in 1997 and became the foundation stone for education in this region. The first college, Guru Gobind Singh Polytechnic, was established in 1998, and later graduate and postgraduate programs were added. In 2001, Guru Gobind Singh College of Engineering and Technology was established, followed by Guru Gobind Singh College of Education in 2005. In 2006, Guru Gobind Singh Institute of IT and Research and Guru Gobind Singh College of Nursing came into existence. In 2021, Guru Kasi University was established by Punjab Act number 37 of 2011. Since then, the university is growing and catering the needs of local, national, and global area in the lap of the natural beauty. Being located in the rural area, the university caters to the demand of agriculture and has started various programs under College of Agriculture. It has double accreditation from ICAR and PCAR. The university has also created links with peer universities and institutions at local, national, and international level to enhance research and teaching experience. The university is offering 50 plus programs at undergraduate, graduate, and doctorate level, and is following choice-based credit system. The curriculum is learning outcome based at all levels, and multiple entry and exit system has been adopted. Following e-governance is another administrative facilitator system of the university. Having excellent facilities and opportunity in the sports and cultural activities, the students are provided with high level of coaching in individual and team games. The campus is located 5 kilometers from Sri Damdama Sahab, Talwandi Sabo in the rural area, spreading across the 75 plus acres of land, besides academic and administrative blocks. It has hostels, canteens, agriculture farms, orchards, herbal garden, gymnasium, sports ground, as well as well-maintained parks, auditorium, open-air theater, library, computer center, and open learning centers for students in its academic blocks. There are 13 plus faculty providing different level of education. Why Guru Kasi University a student must join? These are some brief perspectives. It is a NAC A++ grade accredited university. It is among top 2% universities of India. It has 80 plus acre beautiful campus, 100 plus acres of area, presently 7,000 plus students, 400 plus foreign students already studying in our university. The students are from 28 plus countries across the globe. Guru Kasi University is recognized by University Grant Commission, UGC. Guru Kasi University is a member university of Association of Indian University, AIU. All the courses in agriculture are accredited by Indian Council of Agriculture Research. So this was all about very small introductions about Guru Kasi University. So I will like to hand over the mic to Madam Sakti to continue the process of the webinar. Thank you so much everyone for joining this webinar. I hope this webinar is going to helpful for everyone in the form of clinical research process. Thank you everyone.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So I think the wait is over. We are now getting into the sessions of today's webinar. I would like to introduce our first resource person, Ms. Uma Priya. She'll be providing the session on Introduction to Clinical Research and Clinical Data Management. She is a dynamic leader in the field of healthcare and pharmaceutical research, and currently serving as the co-founder and director of Clinosol Research Private Limited, armed with Masters of Science degree and MBE. She has honored her expertise over the years, beginning her journey as a clinical research associate in 2004. With a keen eye for details and a passion for excellence, she swiftly ascended the career ladder, assuming pivotal roles as a quality and project head in a short term. With a robust background in clinical trials, data management, medical writing, and all other domains, Uma has garnered invaluable experience in navigating the complexities of the healthcare industry. So in her current capacity at Clinosol, Uma has played an instrumental role in shaping the company's trajectory over the last 5 years. As a co-founder, she brings a blend of vision, leadership, and operational acumen to the table, driving the organization towards sustainable growth and innovation. So beyond her professional achievement, she is deeply committed to fostering talent and nurturing the next generation of healthcare professionals. She actively engages in skill development activities, initiatives, empowering individuals to excel in their respective roles and also make a meaningful contribution to the field. So with this, I'm handing over to Uma ma'am to take the session forward. You're on mute, ma'am.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Hope I'm audible now.
You are audible. I think
Yes,
you
you're
are audible. If you can switch on the video and share the screen, you can start the first session.
I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know. Okay.
Yes, we are able to see the screen. You're on mute. You can start the session.
I have some technical issues in my laptop, so I'm talking from my mobile, but I'm sharing from my laptop. Hope that's okay. Okay, right. So today's session speaks about the clinical data science, but before we speak about clinical data science, we have to speak where it all has started. So today my topic deals with the basics from where it has started and where we are going now. Just allow me a moment so that you can see my entire screen. All right. So we speak about clinical data science. Clinical data science, this word has emerged post-COVID, not before that, especially in India. So when we speak about clinical data science, we must speak about clinical research and clinical trials and data management. Without data management, we cannot go forward with the data science. So today, my session deals with the basics of clinical research. As everybody knows that clinical research or clinical trials are the backbone or the heart and soul of drug discovery. So when we are doing clinical trials, obviously we are including the human participants in it, and we are collecting the data. And what is this data? What we are going to collect and how we are going to manage this data speaks the next steps of clinical data science. All right. So what is the importance of clinical data management in clinical trials? We all must be knowing that clinical trials happens as a systematic manner, in a systematic manner. So what is this systematic manner? We follow a protocol, and based on that protocol, we design the case report form, CRFs. Now, CRFs are the electronic form, eCRFs, and on that, we collect the data. Data is the heart for clinical trials. So, the data management, as the word speaks, it speaks about the data and how we are going to clean it, collect it, clean it, and how we are going to give it further for analyzing. So, data management has started, clinical trials have started earlier, but data management has started in the early 20th century. And we used to collect the data manually using the papers. Now we are using the electronic systems, which has been mandated by the Federal Drug and administrations. Why? Because we have to make sure that our data is traceable. If you are working on a paper, if you are collecting the data on a paper, it is always difficult to trace it. It is always difficult to store the large amount of data. Now we have EDC systems which have been introduced in 1960s and 70s in United States, but it has come to India in early 2000s. What are the advancements now are? The biggest advancement is electronic data capturing tools that we are seeing these days. You may name it Oracle tools, or you name it Medidata tools that we are using in the industry currently are EDC tools. The regulatory landscape has changed drastically pre and post COVID times. The data that we are capturing has changed. The parameters that we are collecting has changed. Everything has changed. The way that we are designing the systems, the way we are validating the systems, and the way we are capturing the data, and the way we are managing the data. We are managing the data not just on the patients or on just the subjects, but we are also integrating the data from the safety systems like pharmacovigilance systems and also from the central laboratories. The biggest changes that have come post-COVID time are the cloud computing, which has revolutionized the way we are collecting and storing the data. Earlier, for multiple centers, we used to collect the data and, putting all the data together to bring an insight used to be very difficult task. Now with cloud computing, we are capturing all the data in a centralized storage unit from where we can retrieve the data, we can read the data, we can correct the errors, and the data that we are collecting from the mobile technologies and different variables, we are putting all the data together and we are using AI/ML techniques to read that data and to make it error-free and traceable. Digitalization has changed the way we are collecting the data. I'll give you one example over here. We are collaborated with one organization, which is an US-based organization run by an Indian, where they are working on how to collect the data when the internet is very slow. You are collecting the data on electronic data tools, which needs internet connectivity. These people are working on to collect the data and to put it to the centralized server when the network is good. Especially in low facility countries such as African countries, they are working a lot where they are collecting the data and they are working on the data when the internet facility is very low. We have data standardization elements that are in picture now, where we are standardizing the data because the way we collect the data in every country is not the same. And managing this data is difficult, analyzing this data is difficult, which has been collected on using different terminologies, different formats, different words. When we speak about medical terminology, when we speak about English, these are the two major things that we use to collect the data. And we differ in our English, we differ in the way we use our medical terminology. So data standardization plays a key role in maintaining the regulatory compliance when we manage with the data. And what regulations we are using are the 21 CFR Part 11 for all our electronic systems and ICH GCP guidelines to ensure the safety of the patient data. All right. Data capturing. The first step of data management is data capturing. We are saying about data capturing. So it is not happening only when the subject is entering into the study. The data management starts even before that. Right from the stage of protocol development, data management starts where you develop the systems, like you have your Oracle, you have your Medidata. We are building the databases and we are validating the databases for different roles. Data management will have different roles, which Almas will be speaking about later during her session. So for these different roles, the activities that we do are different. So all these activities, all these user controls, all these management of data happens using these tools. Data cleaning. The next one is data cleaning. How do we do data cleaning? We foresee the data that is coming into our system even before the trial starts, and we are going to stop the dirty data at the initial stages itself so that we can collect only the good amount of data that can be analyzable. We have lots of data that has to be collected in clinical trials, but only we have to evaluate the safety and efficacy parameters so that the drug can get into the market. What are these safety data? What are these efficacy endpoints? You have to capture them properly on your database. That may be your paper-based systems or your electronic systems. You have to capture them properly so that you can clean them automatically for all the data that you already have predicted what values have to be entered. Example, if a study has to be conducted for a particular age group, you are setting the minimum and maximum values at the initial stages itself when you are developing the database. And whenever the site tries to enter any wrong data, that stops them there itself, saying that this is not within the protocol specified limits. You have to correct the data. This way, using the artificial intelligence systems and foreseeing the data, we are eliminating most of the errors while collecting the data. So where are we storing all these data that may be coming from the safety systems, that may be coming from the laboratories? If you are managing in a paper-based systems, it is difficult to manage every kind of data. But we are using a system called as clinical trial management system, wherein we are integrating different databases, different systems together on one platform, and based on roles, we are giving the data, we are giving access to the data so that they can utilize the data as per their certain roles. Yes, the next one is centralized data repository. As I have discussed earlier, we are keeping all the data under one repository, which we are calling as centralized repository, which we are maintaining on cloud platforms, which makes it very secure, which makes it accessible to everyone across the globe whenever and wherever they are sitting. You can access the data. The globalization has changed the way that we are collecting the data. You have seen post-COVID, we have different devices that are collecting the data, and these companies have to collaborate with the researchers, with the sponsors, so that they can give valid information, valid input to these people, so that they can analyze the data, because data is everywhere. It is on the internet, it is in your wearable devices, it is in the clinical trials, but how you understand the data plays a major role. And this data is coming from various databases, various systems, and it is not proper structured data. It is a raw data. Then you have to analyze the data, understand the data, and then you have to bring outputs from this data is important. Now, speaking about the Indian clinical data management system, India is now growing a lot after COVID-19. We are using the systems due to the globalization, due to the global crisis. We have come up with AI-based data capturing systems now in India. I think we have Medidata who is using AI systems. We have Oracle One who is using the AI-based data capturing systems now, which is making the data very clean than earlier to be analyzed. The next innovations that we are seeing in the industry currently are the quantum computing. Quantum computing has changed the way we are collecting the data. It has become so quicker. Earlier, when we used to enter the data, then it used to take some time to get into the repository. But now, it has quantum computing has increased the speeds of the internet, increased the speeds of the data that has been transferred from system to the system. And all those systems now are connected using the internet. So now we have in the we are in the 5G generation where the data is getting transferred very quickly, and the digital twins. We have to speak about this because we are now using the virtual patient models. We are not using animal models very much. So with virtual patient models and simulators, it is one more time challenging in data collection. But the systems are in picture. They are working hard on these models. Probably in the coming 5 or 10 years, we come up with a good data collection using virtual patient models and simulators. What is the conclusion is we are in a transformation stage. We are in a transition between the clinical data management and clinical data science. On clinical data science, Mujib will be speaking much elaboratively. This is just an introduction where you will come to know that clinical data management or managing the clinical data is the first step of entering into clinical data science. With this, I would like to stop my presentation. Want to hand over it to Mujib sir so that he can take this ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. That was a very insightful session. So I would like to introduce our next resource person. He is Mujibuddin Sheikh sir. He is a highly accomplished professional with an impressive educational background with B.Pharm, M.Pharm, and MSc in clinical research from Manipal University. He has established himself as a leading figure in the clinical research industry with over 15 years of experience, worked across various organizations like QPS, Perexcel, Accenture, Oracle, and IQVIA. So, driven to his passion for teaching, Mujib sir founded his own organization, Clinosol Research Private Limited. Through Clinosol, he has been able to train and mentor numerous aspiring professionals from different domains of clinical research, and his dedication and guidance in research has resulted in successful placement of the students also. So in addition to this commitment to education, Mujibuddin actively participated in industry conferences as an academic partner. He has been speaker for almost 50 plus continuing medical education programs since 2020. He has been an integral part of conferences such as ISCR, SEDM, and also ACRP, and been a part of more than 200 conferences as a speaker and panelist. So with this, I would like to hand over to Mujibuddin Sheikh sir to continue with the sessions further.
Yeah, thank you, Shakti. I think a wonderful day today with a lot of topics which are being discussed already. The chief guest have put us how the clinical data science is going to work and how the future of clinical trials is looking at it. I would like to first thank the host organization and also Dr. Manoj for giving us the opportunity to speak about the most advanced topic, which is clinical data science. Before I start my session, I had one thinking that how this clinical data science is real-time used. So there is a patient who came to a doctor, and the patient started speaking that I have so much of data with me. So then doctor got surprised that what is your data? What do you have? Then patient started saying that, okay, I am suffering one kind of a disease or a sign or symptom, which is I have some XYZ problem. Then he started saying that I have collated all my data from since years, 20 years. I have all my prescription reports, all my medical history records, all my previous treatments, all my previous allergies, all my food habits, all my allergic conditions, all my social history like alcoholism, smoking and all. I also have that how much sleep I have, how much workout I will do, how much walking I do, how much calories I burn. And I also have the data about my parents, that what my parents were having the previous, my parents' generation, either they were diabetic or hypertension or all. I also have the records of X-rays and ECGs and scan reports of my COVID time, which is 5 years back. So patient gave all this information, all this data to the doctor. Now, doctor got a question that how can I utilize all amount of this information and give the best possible treatment, the best possible outcome for the patient? So there comes the most important topic of discussion, which is called as how the data can be utilized, because the future is all about data. Patient gave so much of data. If we utilize this data, we can prevent the future diseases for the patient. And also we can utilize this data to say that if you want to have healthier life, you have to eat this much, sleep this much, work out this much, have allergic of this, have this kind of alcoholism or smoking, and then your life will be good. So that's the whole story ends up with a word which is called as data. And the future age is of data age. We had seen so many different ages like Stone Age and all those things. Now it is data age. So the biggest point is we have a huge amount of data and we are sitting on data lakes. So India is being called as data lakes because we have a n number of patients with the different cultures and with different backgrounds and with different kind of food habits and social history, allergic histories. Altogether, how can we utilize this data to make sure that the future generation, the patient outcome can be given based on individual patient response system? It's not about one drug suits for everyone. It's precise medicine or precision medicine, and how existing data of the patient can be utilized to make sure the precision medicine can be given and to make sure the healthier society can be living. So that beauty is called as the clinical data science. So when I took this topic, it was so interesting. And I think definitely this clinical data science is going to grow like anything. Say, for example, now Clinosol. So Clinosol, when I started 5 years back, how it looked. And after 5 years, how it looked. So 5 years back, it's a baseline data. And 5 years after, how much we have done to the society and to the students and to the academics or to the industry is something which we have to understand. The comparison of data, and we can say that what is the prediction of the data? What is the next year which Clinosol can do it? So that's something the beauty of clinical data science or data science. So data science can be used for everywhere, but data science has chosen particularly the clinical or healthcare analytics data because everyone speaks about only one thing. Everyone has thinking, every patient is thinking that how I can live healthier. Everyone started using nutraceuticals. I think earlier, 10 years back, no one used to speak about nutraceuticals. So we used to not know about what is nutraceuticals also. But now currently everyone is speaking about nutraceuticals. Everyone is speaking about healthier living. Everyone is speaking about no cooking, no oil. So everyone wants to eat raw. Everyone wants to live very healthy lifestyle. Everyone wants to go for a jogging, walking, maintain their health, lifestyle, everything. Endpoint is data, how we can utilize for the benefit of the patient and society is clinical data science. And this data can be utilized so much good, but unfortunately, we are not collecting huge amount of data which is being done. So say, for example, if I have a question to be answered, saying that how many of the patients who are more than 60 years are suffering from rheumatoid arthritis? Can I get this answer? So answer is yes, we can get. But the problem is we're not archiving that clinical trial data, or we are not archiving that EHR data or X-ray data or images data. If you have all the images data all over the India, with a single click, we can say that, okay, this is the amount of data I have. Based on this data, out of 140 crores, this many patients are suffering with this and the symptoms are like this and the treatment has to be done like this. Of the future research, for example, how can we know that what should be the future research? Which drug, which molecule, which vaccine or which medication has to be bought? So then we have to understand what is our lifestyle changes of the patients. What are the major problems which are going to occur in 10 years? That's about the prediction. That's about the understanding about the future and preparing your molecule as per that. That ends up with one thing which is called as data science. And with that data science, we are including healthcare analytics, which is clinical data science. So with that, I think doctors also are thinking about the different models And doctors are also implementing the models so that patients can use clinical data science and understand about how data can be utilized. Now, it's not big thing that everyone is very much aware about the healthcare. Everyone is using sensors. Everyone is using wearables. Everyone is wearing the smart watches. Everyone is utilizing different aspects. Everyone's home, they have a BP machine. Everyone's home, they have a weight machine. Everyone's home, they have sugar testings. Everyone's home, they have a list of things which has to be performed. So that ends one of the most important thing which patient can utilize, which is the clinical data science. So now, what is the history? What history actually said? And what is the current definitions, and then what is actually the process of CDS, clinical data science, and what are the advantage, what are the disadvantage, what is the regulatory compliance, and what is the future of CDS? So this is the wonderful topic to be discussed. I said wonderful story that all the data of the patient can be utilized for the patient to get better patient outcome and understanding about the future of the patient. And disease never occurs in one day. Disease occurs because of the huge amount of laziness or unhealthy habits or unhealthy eating, unhealthy sleeping, and all those activities together, it mounts up to a particular disease. And most biggest problem with all the youngsters are having stress levels or lack of sleep or insomnia or not having healthier life. So those all aspects, we can prevent it. We can go for epidemiological studies. We can implement this data sciences to predict the future of India also. So that's the beauty of the clinical data science. And then I would start about the history. What is the history of clinical data science? How the clinical data science started. So the CDS traces back to early days of healthcare informatics. We had healthcare informatics. The healthcare data was there, and we used to use informatics, which is omics. Either it is proteinomics or genomics or other kind of omics, which were being used to identify a disease or to identify a drug. So omics is so much important for drug discovery, or also to identify the receptors or diseases, to identify that what drug can go and bind to which receptor. So that's about healthcare informatics earlier we used to have. But advancement of computing system and also data analytics. See, it's all about analysis of the data and predicting the data, that how can we utilize it for the better patient outcome or for the better patient societies or for the better nations. So that's about the future was about data analytics of healthcare information. So what is a particular definition of the CDS, how CDS looks like? So the CDS refers to application of data science. So it's simple. We apply the data science, but for a particularly to healthcare data, about the patient data, about the patient's data, about the clinical trial data, all this healthcare related data, we are implementing data science techniques and models and analysis methods to make sure that the operation efficiencies and patient outcomes and patient care can be suited. Or we increase the patient outcome. We make sure that patient is happy after taking your medication or after taking your treatment. And the models which are being implemented with the data science can increase the operation efficiency, and also it can give the right precision medicine. So data science implemented with healthcare data, make sure that the health outcomes, patient outcomes, or the operation efficiency can be grown is your clinical data science. So that's a beautiful aspect which we have to do it. So the data science, most of times we have the two documents which we have to use. Unfortunately, this is not being used. Now, a simple question, COVID, so many people have suffered. But a simple question, during COVID, we used multiple medications. We used scans, we used images, we used X-rays, we used lab reports and everything. So have really we archived that data? Can we use that particular data, that which age group has which values, which age group and which genders has which scan reports? So are we really have archived these documents? I think the answer is no. So the biggest problem is the EHR and EMR. The health records and medical record of the patient were not being used and archived. So now the health records and medical records should be electronic copies. So now if you go to a doctor, and why a doctor should ask all about our previous report in a files or a paper format? Why can't you go and say to a doctor saying that, boss, here is my number. This is 1001. So if doctor types 1001, doctor gets all the information about the patient, scan report, images, x-rays, lab reports, food habits, social histories, all the reports, and doctor takes a precise answer for providing the treatment. It's not about getting a patient getting a disease and give a treatment. It's not about that, but how best we can utilize the amount of information which patient is having with regards to EHR and EMR. But are we really archiving EHR and EMR is a questionable thing, which we have to start thinking about how electronic health records and electronic medical records can be archived and how it can be utilized by the doctors for taking the precision medicine and for taking the right treatment and for making sure the future generation is predictions is being accurately done and drug discovery is being done carefully. So now what is EHR and EMR? Is the one which is being used digital version of medical records. Either it is medical records, scans, images, previous medical histories, previous concomitant medication, previous allergies, social histories, or the exercises or nutrition, food habits. All these things can be done with this. And remember one thing, human beings are more dependent on systems. Now, for example, I took a vaccine today. And after 1 week, I should take one more vaccine. I might not remember. But if I start taking a vaccine now, automatically system understands that he has taken one vaccine and automatically alert will come 1 week after that you have to take a vaccine now. And system itself will book a cab to me and cab wala will call me and say that, okay, you have got a cab. And once you get into cab, it drops you to the nearest hospital. You take a vaccine, that report is uploaded to EHR and the patient will be followed up next day, whether I have any allergic conditions or I have got any fever or pain after vaccine. Everything is electronically done if you archive EHR and EMR. And this EHR and EMR can be the future for the healthcare analytics or clinical data science. So the basic point here is we have to archive the nice amount of data, which is EHR and EMR, which is electronic health records and electronic medical records. It can put you into a nice future agendas where patient will have more time to assess himself. So now it can give immunization dates. It can also understand that what are the allergies and what should be avoided. So doctor might forget that patient had allergy with X drug. But if doctor writes this, system will automatically flag saying that patient is allergic because patient took this medication 10 years back as per his EHR and EMR records and adverse event reports and prescription report. Patient is allergic to this drug. Red flag. Doctor will understand, oh, I made a mistake. Let me retreat or let me take a medication, different names. And radiology and X-ray images, how can we convert into data? So there are so much of image, how can we convert into data? So now patient came with a tumor. The tumor is increasing or decreasing. You can't see two images and say. But if you understand this image as to data, then that data can be compared. And that amount of information which is changing from the baseline to this can be called as your clinical data science. And the system can predict saying that, okay, if you continue this medication, patient might get a nice treatment and his tumor can reduce. So that's about radiology image and lab test results. See, lab test results is so much good. Hard copies are being used. But if it is soft copy, for example, soft copy, and you write a programming saying that, okay, this lab value, for example, in an example of hemoglobin value is this much, less amount, for example. And then doctor started prescribing a medication. A medication also might have a causes or problem of lower the hemoglobin. Then system will flag because we have wrote a machine learning program saying that, okay, in this hemoglobin condition, patient should never take this medication because this medication itself will decrease the hemoglobin percentage. Now, patient don't need to understand or doctor does not need to remember anything. Automatic flags and alerts will come to a doctor saying that, boss, you are giving this medication, but as per the patient lab reports, this drug is not suited for this particular patient. So that's the streamline of healthcare data, and the doctors can utilize so much highly for making sure the better outcome for the patient can be utilized. So EHR and EMR enhances the patient care coordination for better patient health care delivery. So EHR and EMRs, you don't need to take one paper also. So it's obviously, it's very environment friendly and all the data can be captured by the system. Data science people works place on EHR and EMR. So a simple question, where the COVID started in India. So it started with Kerala or Delhi. So we had question, why Kerala or Delhi? So all data when you collected, you started analyzing that the primary reason for epidemiological disorders of this, why it is happening. So then that's what you are calling it as EHR and EMR, and data science works on this particular data. Now the overall process of the data science. So because we have spoken so much about it, overall process of clinical data science is the steps. So first one, you take the data. So you collect all the data. either the patient demography data, or either the previous medical history data, or EHR, EMR data, disease data, allergic data, previous medication data, and previous social history data, and familial history data, and current treatment, and what are the possible other treatment, who is the treating doctor. All the data is called as the data acquisition or sources of data. Remember a point that all data will not be same. All data will not be same. Some data will be numbers, some data will be x-rays, some data will be images, some data will be words, some data will be questionnaires, some data will be 0 to 10 scores. All those kind of data will be there, which is data acquisition from different sources. All the patient related data you are acquiring and acquisition, and that is what you call it as data acquisition. The point number one, different sources of data, you are collecting the data, which is data collection. The second point, data pre-processing. So you have collected all the different data, but the biggest problem is the interchange of the data. So every X-ray or image or questionnaire has to be converted into the analysis data or ready to analysis data, because these are raw data. You can't go and say that, okay, I have 100 images. Can you tell that what is the future of India? So we can't say that, but we have to make that data Okay, I'm sorry. I think there was some technical glitch. I was dropped out. So I hope my voice is audible now.
Yes, it's all.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know. I got dropped off. I don't know the reason. So now I spoke about data acquisition, which is gathering of all information into your clinical trial systems or your clinical data analytics. The next one is data pre-processing, where you start cleaning and transforming the data into unstructured data to structured data. So the images, the data, the numbers, and all the histories or familial histories, the questionnaires, all these things has to be converted into structural languages so that it's ready for the analysis. That's what you call it as data pre-processing. The pre-processing makes sure the invalid data to be converted into clean data, the raw data to be converted into ready for analysis data. So the second step involves in data pre-processing, cleaning, transforming the unstructured data to the structured data, which is ready for the analysis. That's step number two. So data collection, the second one is about pre-processing. The third one, implementing of data analysis. So this is where you start using programming languages, statistical analysis languages, including R language, wherein you can analyze the data and also to understand, to extract the insights that what might be the reason for the patient to get into these problems, or what should be the treatment of the patients to be given, or to understand the patterns and trends of the clinical trial data or the patient data. So the most important analysis is being done to understand the patterns or to understand the trends of the data or to understand the insights of the data of the patient. So this is most important one, which is called as analysis of data. And the fourth one is model development. You develop a wonderful model in order to improve or predict the predictive analysis or to understand the futuristic analysis, that if we continue, what might be the future. So that's about the story of data analysis. Last one is monitoring and evaluation. So continuous monitoring, assessing the monitoring, whether the database or data science model is working correctly and the healthcare analytics and delivery is being working correctly. And also any changes have to be done. Evaluation has to be done. So it includes the 5 steps, the overall clinical data science. The first one is your data acquisition or collection of data. The second one, pre-processing, the data cleaning of the data. And the third one, data analysis, wherein you implement R languages and machine learning programming to understand about the analysis of the data. And fourth one, method development, where you develop a method for predictive analysis. And last one, continuous monitoring and evaluation of your clinical data science. So this overall process of clinical data science, which can change the mindset of the patient or the physician or the researcher. So what are the advantages? The first advantage, the precision medicine or individual paced treatment can be given. So the second one, the decision support, the clinical decision support has to be taken care or can be benefited by your clinical data science, and predictive analysis and also research and innovation can be used. So future is all about clinical data science. This is the advantage of clinical data science. Anyone who wants to go into clinical data science, what has to be learned? I'll be speaking about my next slide. So my next slide about what are the challenges. So challenges are very clear. So basically we are using different data, different sources of data. The first point is quality of data. So the implementation of data science is always depending on your quality of data which is being used. So there might be different sources of data. You might not have the accurate quality of the clinical trial data or the patient data, so which is your data quality. And the second one is interpretation or integration of clinical data or clinical trial data. So because there is so much of clinical trial data or patient data which we have to integrate, so we have to put it on one place where it collaboratively works, integration of data, the healthcare data or the clinical data. So the quality and integration is one challenge, first challenge, which we always have to solve this. And the second one is privacy and security, because we are working on patient related data or healthcare analytics. The privacy and security, having the particular firewalls, making sure that data is not broken, the security systems are not broken, and the patient related patient confidential data are not being circulated outside, because it's a very confidential information. And regulatory compliance, always regulations are very stringent. You have to have HIPAA regulations and you have to have 21 CFR Part 11. You have to follow the Code of Federal Regulation, EMA regulations, NDCT regulations, DCGI regulations, and also TGA regulations to make sure that the databases, the model, the predictive analysis, whichever you are doing it, is as per the compliance of regulatory guidelines, because we are working on healthcare analytics or we are working on patient-related data. So regulatory compliance is one more challenge. And last one is the trust. What we are doing when we run all these methods and analysis, we have to win the trust of the physician and also the patient, or also clinical researchers or discovery people, that this will be useful model for understanding the existing data. We are capturing the existing data. We are teaching to the system, and we are teaching to the machine learning to the system. Machine is going to respond back to us with kind of an answer. So that's what is your AI/ML or data science is doing. Best thing for us. We have to win the trust of the patient, and doctors are also for the clinical researchers. And ethical considerations, the ethics is more important, because data science does not understand what are ethics and what is decision making. So these are the challenges of clinical data science. First, starting from your data quality and integration. Next one, privacy and security, regulatory compliance, and also the trust. And last one is making sure ethical considerations of data science has to be utilized. So now regulatory considerations, as simple as that, every database, every system, every programming language, whichever you are doing it, you have to be in the framework of regulations, which is DCGI or FDA or EMA or TGA or PMDA or ANVISA. All these regulations are being given, and we have to adhere to HIPAA. We have to adhere 21 CFR Part 11, which is electronic document, electronic signatures. And also we have to adhere to GDP regulations and ethical and also the privacy guidelines given by World Medical Associations or AMA associations. So these are regulatory considerations to be taken. What are the different languages, programming languages we have to learn? We can learn. One is SQL, which is structural query language. We can learn. And programming languages like R and Python can be learned. And also the statistical languages like TensorFlow, or you can have the data visualization tool like Power BI or Tableau. All those visualization tool will give the huge amount of data to be visualized as how I have given this kind of a data. So if you want to go into data science, have your clinical knowledge, technical knowledge, regulation knowledge, technological knowledge, and also programming knowledge, convincing skills, presenting skills, all together, the skills which are required for a data science to become clinical data scientist. So this is all about your databases. What is the summary? So clinical data science utilizes the analytical and technological revolutionizing the healthcare, making sure the patient outcomes or also the innovations are growing so much. So it improves the clinical decisions taken by the physician and also streamline the healthcare operations. So this is about the summary and the future of CDS. AI/ML is integrated and predictive analysis is going to help in precision medicine. Expansions will be there, so much seamless data exchange will be there. All the patients will exchange the data and understand about how the data is being worked. Adoption of digital health records, which is EHR and EMR records, and pivotal role is being played for the patient outcomes and also physician decisions to be taken. So I think this might be my last slide. I'm open for questions, but before that, once Almas have completed the session, then I'll be able to take one more round of questions. We will be happy to answer all your questions. With this, I think short note, thank you so much, Shakti, Uma, Almas, Dr. Manoj sir, for providing this opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So we have listened so much of data, clinical data management, and also data science. So it is all about data. And I would like to just tell a fact that because Mujib sir was saying we need an integrated system of healthcare data. And we are actually heading into that era because we have developed a national healthcare database by the Indian government, which is Ayushman Bharat Health Account, which is a national database of healthcare records in which almost 1,800 healthcare professionals are already registered and the institutes are registered. And all the health records are being integrated right from the beginning, where we can trace back the patient's record also, which will be the future of our healthcare system in India. So with this, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Almas Syed ma'am. So she will be presenting a session on career opportunities in clinical research and data management, which is the core of the webinar. So she's master's in business administration and international business, life science graduate in microbiology, and also a diploma in clinical research and regulatory affairs. She has a rich experience in training delivery for clinical research, protocol, safety monitoring, pharmacovigilance, and related regulations for life science associations. She also participated as a speaker at multiple PV conferences and conducted pharmacovigilance and business communication trainings and workshops for 20 years in various institutions and colleges. She has also conducted 300 plus training sessions per year. And with this, I would like to hand over to Almas Syed to carry over the session from here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shakti, for that beautiful introduction. Thank you, Dr. Manoj, and everyone else associated with this webinar today. So I'll just start sharing my screen quickly. Just let me know once it is visible. Yeah. I hope my screen is visible. If I can just get a quick confirmation.
Yes, it's visible and you're audible.
Thank you so much. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, students. Welcome to this beautiful webinar. I'm sure that since morning you have been, listening to different expert, different professionals, and you really have a good knowledge, understanding by now about what is clinical research, what is clinical data management, data science, right? So this would be a very interesting session for all of you because I'm going to talk about the career opportunities. And this is my personal experience. Whenever, we visit, we conduct some conferences, webinar, the students are definitely interested in understanding what is the career path, which field is good. They come and they ask us what is the package, salary. So I'm sure once we complete this session, all of you, you have a clear path about, you develop that interest and you are able to take a decision on, what would you like to pursue in your career further. So without any delay, let me start with this topic, which is oriented more towards the career opportunities. Before that, some facts background that I just wanted to share. You have heard about what is clinical research, you have heard about data science, you have heard about CDM, right? Now, whenever we talk about clinical research, okay, so there are three important inputs or pumping that goes into this entire process of clinical research. That is investing or putting your resources. They are people, right? Then you have time. I'm sure all of you are aware that your clinical trial process or this clinical trials, it takes nothing less than 8, 10, 12 years, right? And then you are investing money. The sponsor, the pharma companies, whoever is funding this, right? They are sponsoring this entire process of clinical research. They need to hire resources. They need to identify the correct resources. And with the investment of people, money, and time, you have one outcome, which is your data, right? And this is all about the clinical trial or research data. So I wanted you to understand this, to know and realize the fact that it is very important that how we collect the data, right? The quality of data, and to ensure that right from the beginning till the end, at every step, the data handling happens by expert. It is not manipulated, and we take all cares to ensure that the correct data goes into the report, the filing, the submission, whatever happens to multiple stakeholders, whether it is your regulatory authorities, whether it is your stakeholders, whether they are your licensing partners, whether it is some data which goes to the public, or other stakeholder. So that's the importance of your data, right? So we have understood about clinical research. We know that it what is the outcome. What we get is lots of data, right? And it becomes our moral responsibility to ensure that this data is being handled in a very, very sensitive manner, right? The regulatory authorities, the ethics committee, the SOPs, the sponsor, or the pharma companies, they are very sensitive about the confidentiality of this data, right? And hence it becomes responsibility of each and every person who is handling this data to ensure that there is data security, integrity, okay, it is not being handled by any unauthorized person, okay, all such things. So imagine one pharma company, approximately what is the number of drugs, medicines, device, biologics, etc., that they may be dealing with. So they have a wide portfolio of all these drugs, medication, etc. And for all good reason, they are continuously conducting new trials. There is already some part of their drugs, medicines, which is available in the market, right? For which they have to do, or they have to continue doing the surveillance post-marketing study to ensure that there are new information, whatever comes in, they are updated, and the same is being shared, exchanged with other relevant stakeholders. So I'm giving you all these examples for you to understand how much of data, the word data itself is very humongous, right? And there are multiple contributions from different places, from different stakeholders, from where we receive this data. Now, coming on the career and opportunities, because my presentation is more on the career part and the roles which are available. What are the different kind of organization or companies or corporates that are hiring, supporting, offering, providing these kind of roles, right? So one has to be eligible, one has to pursue or should be coming from a life science background. That's the basic eligibility criteria. You pursue either your biology, biochemistry, or a pharmacy, right? You should have the required proficiency in data analysis, statistical software, or just to understand the basic IT tools. Communication is very significant because we are dealing with different stakeholders, different peoples, different function, different places, right? So you will see that the routing or the flowing of data, it will come from different sources, different places, from different timeline. So it's very important that the coordination happens. You talk to them, either you talk to them or you write to them, whatever way of communication that you're using, how to request, how do you seek that information, how do you get that data, right? And also it is important for one person to look at the data, not just blindly accept the data that okay, this is fine, I'll do the data entry and I'll pass this to the next person. It is your responsibility to ensure, review that whatever is coming in front of you, is it correct? Do you see that there is some information which is missing? Do you feel the need to ask a query that okay, this is something that I have received, could you please confirm if this is right? This is what is important. This is something that we call as attention to the detail, or being vigilant yourself that okay, this is the data and I have just confirmed that it is correct. Now while you're working with these kind of companies in a CDM domain, with research, okay, with PV, It is important that you are open, you're flexible. You might be doing multitasking most of the time, right? You will start interacting with people. Sometimes you're juniors, sometimes you're seniors. Take their views, requests for some information, etc. So it's a collaborative and a team-based environment where you are expected to work, where you will be placed, right? And most importantly, having a good, thorough knowledge of all the regulation. Understand what clinical trial is all about, the clinical process is all about. You understand the requirement related to the protocol. You understand what is the ethical requirement. Most importantly, you understand what is the requirement of your company, with whom you're associated. What is their SOP requirement? There are some business requirement as well, right? So having a thorough knowledge of all these things, very, very important, right? Some opportunities that I would like to discuss and talk about. I'm not sure how many of you have read that news, but it was just I think some 8 to 10 days back where I just read this news about more scope of clinical trials coming to India, right? And there are different reasons to it. Almost 2 decades has passed where you see that slowly the clinical trial or the kind of outsourcing that started happening in India has grown, right? Also here in India we have a robust system, regulatory framework, NDCT rules, DCGI, their requirement, etc., etc. So what we can say or what we can understand is it is growing, right? You have an opportunity to be get associated or to be working directly with the pharmaceutical companies, right? You have your pharma companies. Just to give you a few examples, I'm sure all of you are aware about Cipla. You have GSK, Astra, Pfizer, etc., right? Biotech companies. So they are directly into the research activities. They have their own R&D quality. There are different teams, there are different departments. They have so they decide basically the senior group or the leadership group. It is their call to decide what part of their business responsibility they retain. They do it by themselves, by recruiting people, definitely hiring resources, and what piece of activity work they are going to outsource. So that's how the role of a contract research organization comes into picture, right? So I hope you understand this process. So there are biotech or pharma companies that love to do their own job, some part of their activities. It's an end-to-end process, right? It's a huge process. So they have a flexibility. They decided, okay, we have an expertise. This is something that we would like to do it on our own. It could be medical writing, it could be CDA, okay? Or if they feel that, okay, this is too much, this is surplus for us, we have lots of drugs in our bags, so let us outsource. And definitely when they start outsourcing, there are different criteria, requirement that they look for, which I would start talking about in the coming slides, right? I spoke about opportunities just some time back, and I insisted about opportunities, or I spoke about opportunities in India. However, this entire effort, affair of clinical trials, conducting the trials, getting the data, sharing it with the relevant stakeholders, communicating it to the drugs, and ensuring, most important, why we are talking about all these things. At the end, what are we trying to achieve is just giving a good experience to our patient. We don't want to see the patient suffering. Definitely, there are some drug-related, adverse reactions that could happen, or some other risks which are definitely associated with these drugs, or maybe the procedures, the clinical trial procedure, or actually by taking these drugs. So, how are we going to mitigate? How can we prevent this? Right. So, this is everything about the patient. The patient is important for us, and all other stakeholders, we are working for the patient, right? We spoke about biotech company, pharma company, CRO. I'm sure all of you have heard, or you have all, you understand that not just pharma companies or biotech, you also have BPO, KPOs, and IT firms. Those have diversified in this healthcare business, pharma business, research business, CDM business. The reason is simply because there is huge amount of investment, huge amount of scope, outsourcing that has happened, right? And IT companies, definitely they have a very good infrastructure. They have good data analysts, programmers, you name, and they have it. even if they don't have it, they can enable it, right? So that's how you see, bulk requirement coming in. There is a vacancy, you see, right? TCS is recruiting, Accenture is recruiting, Wipro is recruiting, etc., etc. So that's when they receive the project, or when they are still in the phase of, that business deal development, they receive an RFP and they understand that, okay, approximately this is the number of resources that we are going to need. What is the requirement? What is the eligibility criteria? What skill set they need? What kind of training, exposure, or experience they need? What is the ratio of fresher and experience? See, any project cannot begin or start only with fresher. They need some ratio, a combination, right? So what is the percentage of fresher who could guide them, assist them? What is the expertise that they already have? And what is the expertise that they need to hire? That's how hiring happens. That's how the requirement comes in. Right, and then again the academic institute. So you have you must have heard, you must have seen, there are lots of colleges, institutes that are supporting. They are for the learning of the students, some kind of studies which are being in-house. Also, you see there are different labs, hospitals, where clinical trials are being done. Just to give you an example, a very huge center for onco studies, we have Tata Memorial Hospital here in Mumbai, which is at Parel, and they are doing multiple studies, all types of cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, gastric cancer, etc., etc. So that is one place, or where clinical trial research activities are done, and definitely where the work is done. How are we going to do? How are we going to manage? Tomorrow, if I become an investigator, or I start, assisting in clinical trials, I may not be able to do everything on my own. I need people, I need resources. That's how requirement comes in, right? So opportunities in India, I think I have already spoken about the pharmaceutical companies, pharma companies directly, CROs, BPO, KPOs, IT firms, academic institutes, and I also mentioned about labs. I also mentioned about hospitals, where clinical research, data management, and all these kind of opportunities or role are available. Now let's see what is the basic, or the beginnings. And I'm just going to talk about some standard roles that is available. But please bear in mind that these are just for representative purpose, students. This is just to make you understand that these are some standard roles available. And trust me, apart from these roles that I'm going to talk about, there are multiple roles which are available. It all depends upon what is the type of organization that you're working for, whether it is corporate, whether it is a BPO or a KPO kind of a setup, whether it is a hospital, whether it is a lab, etc. Okay, so in clinical research, you have a clinical research associate, also referred to as a monitor. Now, this person has a very good contact, or should develop a very good contact with the investigator, clinical trial investigator. So investigator is a doctor who's actually conducting the trial at the trial site. There's a hospital, or there is a practicing unit where the patient comes in, the investigator takes care of the study, and the monitor, usually associated with directly the sponsor or a CRO, keeps visiting, depending upon whether it is what phase the trial is, whether it is a starter phase, whether it is interim, it is a closeout, etc. Looks into the data, verifies, ensure there is a compliance, etc., etc. So mentioned or referred as monitor or a clinical research associate, and there are different levels of it, right? I would like to give you an example. I was associated with Clinifarm. This is a CRO, a contract research organization, and we often used to coordinate with our stakeholders in the Europe, in the European regions, in the European countries. And whenever we had some online calls, right, we used to see that, okay, these people look very old, senior, right? And they used to have a designation like CRA1, CRA2, CRA3, etc., which means that in the same role, they have some grades or level, and they have been assigned one specific study, one specific drug or a product, and they have taken that expertise in that particular study. Right, so that is a designation or grade, and they must be earning definitely a grade package. Right. Second is a clinical data manager, taking care, handling end-to-end data. Right, they would be looking at what is the kind of database that I need to design, structure, so that it becomes apt for the data that I'm expecting to come from different sources. Right. Then you have clinical trial coordinator. Very important. Whenever I talk about conducting studies, or whenever we talk about investigator filling or getting the information, either filling the CRF or filling some data on the SAE form, reporting of safety events, it is often observed, and we have seen that when these reports or these forms come in, the investigator as a responsible person is expected to put his initial or put a signature. But in reality, the filling of data, filling of those forms, it is actually done by a CRC, a clinical research coordinator. They are also responsible for handling all kind of filing, data filling activity, with the investigator. CRC is a person who is working very closely with the investigator. Okay, on different projects, all the studies that the investigator may be involved in. Definitely, then it becomes the responsibility of the investigator to ensure that he or she is able to review, ensure the data entered is correct, accurate, and then put a signature. Right, so it's a responsibility. No one would just blindly, put their signature. So that verification is important. But who has done the basic data entry, looking into, the different source data? It is usually done by the clinical trial coordinator. Too much of, data handling, but yes, it is a great law. Okay. Similarly, when we talk about clinical data management, again, these are just representative roles that I'm going to talk about. Okay, there are multiple roles, if you ask me. Okay, so in clinical data management, also you have data manager. In fact, while working in few of my organization, I have seen team where they have, they recruit as junior data analyst, senior data analyst, because the person who's just joins as a fresher, it is understood that they might take some time to enter the data accurately. So what happens is they will primarily do the data entry, and then you have a second person who is, a year or two senior. Okay, and the person will do a double data entry or just have a review or a QC check just to ensure that the data entered is correct. Right. So data manager responsible for end-to-end data management. Why? To ensure the integrity, accuracy of the data, to ensure that it is handled in a confidential manner. There is, no editing which is done just by someone who doesn't have or is not responsible to, interfere or have access to the system. Data programmer, they are more into the technical, stream or segment. So they will be responsible to develop custom software solution, extract, transform, different type of conversion that may be required to ensure that whatever comes as an outcome, you are able to interpret. There is some meaning. You are able to see, understand how it looks like. Okay. Data analyst, again, they would be, applying, advanced method. So they would give sense to your data. So you have to show some trend. There is statistical analysis, right? So for example, if I have conducted a study, it's a global study, conducted in more than 5 to 8 countries, multiple sites, right? So when I have all the data and when I'm going to compile this to make it or convert it into a clinical study report, how does it look like? Okay, no one is going to read, a copy or a booklet which is running into 1,000 places. Right? They may look into the synopsis, interpretation, and what they want to look is the statistical correlation, the trends. Okay, so that's how the data analyst would help with showing the trends, just integrating that statistics to add some importance, some value and interpretation for the research work. Importance of data management in clinical trial. I think we have heard from all other colleagues how, this clinical data management is important, or how it adds value, right? So at any given point of time, even if the data is being handled by multiple stakeholders, multiple people, it is important for us to ensure integrity. Okay, we cannot manipulate the data. It is responsibility to ensure that it is into safe hands. Regulatory compliance. I heard Mujib, I heard, Uma talk about some regulations that are required, right? So whether it is 21 CFR, whether it is regulation coming from your ICH, whether it is, regulation coming from different, authorities, regulatory authorities, whether it is your SOP, everything you need to be in compliance with, right? Then most importantly, compliance related to your 21 CFR, whether it could be related to HIPAA, it could be related to GDPR, etc., etc. We have to work within that framework. You cannot deviate, right? And there is no relaxation provided when it comes to data, because that's very, very important. Okay, accelerating drug development. So to ensure that how you receive the data, how it is, absorbed, taken, a process, cleaning is done, and then finally the outcome is given. So in fact, I would like to say that, how the data is managed, this is going to decide whether you can make the drug or break the drug. right? You might be doing the studies for years and years. You have taken experts into your study, scientists and doctors and this and that, right? However, if the collection, processing, okay, archival, interpretation, management, the entire management, if it fails, then you don't know, right? And regulators, they would not be ready to listen, right? You have to ensure that whatever is being asked, whatever is required, that is shared in the appropriate manner, right? So the transparency of information or transparency of data is also something which is very, very important. Okay, so we have to bear this mind about data. Some trends and advancement in clinical data management. I would not spend much time. I heard my previous colleagues have already spoken about it, right? But with the collection of data, I would like to give you an example. While working with one of my organization, it was a CRO, right? They actually had a huge archival room and multiple studies. They had huge files which are kept in different racks. So it was as good as it was mirroring like a library, right? And then you have a biometric access for just two people, one the primary person or access person, authorized person, and a backup in case the first person is on leave or whatever happened. Every person, so if I'm a person and I work for that organization, I need to enter that archival room. I don't have an access. I need to sign the register. I need to maintain the log, my in time and out time, and what file I have taken and how much time did I take to review that file, and when did I submit that file again. So that's an archival room. Now, if you practically imagine, is it possible for every organization or company to archive or retain this information in a physical room for such a long time? Maybe the answer is no. Hence, Mujib, when he spoke about electronic means of ensuring that the data is saved, archived, and whenever there is a need, you just have a click and the data comes in. The technologies that we are looking at, the technologies which are coming to us, they are helping us to ensure that we can get rid of that requirement of physically having the papers and files and copies and brochures, etc. So we need to understand how the integration of AI, ML, digitalization, converting data into electronic ways, electronic form, how it is going to help us and how it is going to make our lives easy. Okay, so digitalization, ALML. So all these things should be integrated in an appropriate manner. Also, we understand that all these systems cannot be independently used. You need some amount of human intervention here to ensure that whatever the machine, the computers, the robots, whatever they are doing, are they doing it correctly, right? Because they may not be sensitive to the requirement of the ethical requirement or the regulatory requirement. So that's where our intervention comes into picture. But they are here to support us. They are like our friend. We have to ensure that whatever we are doing, with their assistance, it is still driven and it is happening in the required manner. Remote monitoring, during COVID, in fact, even before that, I'll tell you the actual reason. And most of the time when we used to talk with our friends, we used to just laugh and smile on this. So it's the same organization, a contract research organization or a CRO, and I had many friends, and the kind of job they had, every time they just get a call, maybe 2 days prior, okay, tomorrow you have to visit Chennai, the next day you have to go to Kerala and this place and that's it. So that's the kind of profile or routine of a CRA or a clinical research associate. That's how it was. And further lifestyle, staying in a big hotels, 5-star hotels, then you have your investigators meeting, food, everything is sponsored, and this is all supported by, because it is incorporated in the cost estimate which is given by the service provider to the sponsor, right? Later there was some kind of cost cutting, and they started coming out with some suggestions that how can we minimize or do this cost cutting. Also with that remote monitoring, this started becoming little easy. So they started doing something like risk-based monitoring, need-based monitoring. You look at the site where you feel that there could be some trouble, there could be some risk, you start focusing, or have your CRAs or monitors being visiting the sites more frequently on in these regions, in these cities or these places. Others could be monitored in a remote manner. So that's how monitoring started or was being handled with. Now, one important thing, students, which I would like to talk about. See, when you talk about opportunities. They would be sufficient. There would be, in fact, ample opportunities. But you have to grab the opportunity. Okay, the last point in the previous slide where I mentioned about knowledge, right? So it's about what is the regulatory requirement? What is this process all about? So you have to be clear, because unless you are aware, unless you understand that who all are the parties involved, what happens to what I'm looking at, from where it has come, where it is going to go, in between, what is my role, right? This is something that you have to understand. For that, you have to continuously keep learning. Right, nowadays learning is like, how do you breathe, right? You keep breathing, that's why we are alive, that's why we are surviving, right? So learning is like, if you want to ensure that your career is on hot at every at every given time, you have to keep learning. Whatever you are doing today, probably after, in the coming next 2 or 3 years, that could become obsolete, right? So you have to continuously learn. That's the only option. Okay, so be a part of some there are different teams, there are different societies, like you have your Indian Society of Clinical Research, SDM Group, DIA, right? Then be a part of, try have your registration on LinkedIn. You will see there are lots of invitation. ICH, this website itself has so much information about clinical trials, safety aspect, GCP principles. Okay, WHO, UMC, if you go on these sites, there are some basic training courses. Go through it. Okay, so start building that habit of learning, right? You can definitely get associated with organizations like Clinosol, where we are also helping you, assisting you with these kind of programs with the certification, right? Whether it is online, offline, the faculty members would definitely share their expertise, and they will help you to get these kind of certification. There are some online courses, also some links on YouTubes that you can look at, and that's how you can gain knowledge. Okay, the most important and interesting thing, which always comes as a question: what is the package, what is the salary, right? So my answer to this would be, dear students, when you are a fresher, first thing that I would like to request each one of you, you should be flexible, you should be open to accept. Before that, make a good preparation. Okay, most of the time, whenever we take these as a trainer, I have seen students coming in and they keep asking, how much package will I get? When will the growth happen? When the increment will happen? So on and so forth, right? When will I get an interview? So I always advise, you are a fresher, ensure how much of knowledge you already have. Are you capable of cracking the interview? Because it should not happen that you have an opportunity for taking up an interview and you're not prepared. So most important, before finding an opportunity, ensure that you are prepared for it, so that you don't miss that opportunity. It's okay, a couple of opportunities you might miss, but that would again be a learning opportunity for you. What did you learn? What kind of questions you were able to answer? What kind of questions you felt that there is still scope for improvement? You could still learn, right? But definitely the person who's taking your interview or the employer, they are aware that, okay, I'm going to a campus or I'm going to this college, so how much should I expect? You say that, okay, I've done the certification, they may be curious to know, okay, what did you learn from the seminar? What did you learn from the certification, or from, whatever course that you did? You should be ready. Okay. At beginner's level or a fresher level, here in India, we have seen that at least, for a fresher with, a good knowledge and able to crack the interview, it would nothing be less than like, 5-8 lakhs, etc. Within a tenure of like 2 years or 3 years, you might get a designation of a senior executive. 5 years is good span for you to become a team lead, and then it goes up the hierarchy with manager, senior manager, etc., etc. Okay, now this is a standard part, okay, or an average part, which I have just mentioned about. It is on you, how good you are, how dedicated you are, how much you are ready to give or contribute more than what is expected from your job, right? So that's important. So people should notice you that, okay, this person is ready to learn. The person is doing more than what is required. Okay, especially in India. See, I think we have to be practical. We have seen that, even if it is an official 7 or 8 hours of duty, we never log out after 8 hours or 9 hours. There is always something more that is there, and we can't say no. Okay, we do it. But this is observed. they appreciate that, okay, the person is flexible, and the person did accept, or was okay, fine to incorporate, so on and so forth. So that's where you gain it. You start participating, you take initiative, you talk about, there is always some kind of hurdle session during reviews. Okay, you talk, you understand your work, you talk about it, presenting it to the leaders. That's how you gain that importance. Okay, so this is my suggestion or advice. This is something that I spoke about India. In global scenario, yes, in terms of flexibility is there. Okay, but because of difference in culture, we have seen so far, I have seen that things doesn't work in terms of timing and shift exactly like we have seen, observe, or it is expected here in India. In other, in global, other global places like US, EU, Canada, Japan, they have a very stringent timeline. But this is also something that we need to respect. You're calling your peer or your team member maybe at an odd hour because it is something urgent. Check whether the person is okay to talk about. So that kind of flexibility, that kind of sensitiveness, that kind of understanding, or what we call it as business etiquettes, right? This should be learned. And with Clinosol, you will see that not just the domain or the subject knowledge, right? We also conduct lots of business communication, leadership, right? And then making the student prepared, making the fresher understand that what is the requirement, okay, whenever they have an opportunity. So that's something that you need to learn so that you can have a better place in the organization. Okay, work-life balance and job flexibility, I think I already spoke about it. But yes, I would definitely want to mention about the work related to CDM or clinical research. Right from the beginning, to some extent, it was flexible, okay, especially for CDM. Okay, I'm also seeing or talking to you about this because most of the students, they come with the same question. Can I switch my job? Can I, can I move to a different organization? How many years minimal, is good enough for me to stay in an organization? What if I'm getting married, especially for girls, right? What if I want to take a break? What if I'm going on a mat leave? So many questions, right? Honestly, all these organizations, even in India, okay, it is something that we have experienced, we have seen. So I, in my capacity as a senior manager, if I have a fresher, she comes in with some request that, okay, my mom is not well, or someone is not well, or there is some exigency. Do I grant her a leave or an option to work from home? The answer is yes. Right? Because he or she has already gained that kind of confidence, okay, that the person is doing a good job. So there is no way or means that I should decline that, okay, there is each one of us have a personal right, right? And we want to ensure that you are able to balance your personal needs, your personal requirement, your family, along with the work. Okay, so most of these organizations, they are flexible, especially after the pandemic or COVID. Okay, we have seen almost more than 3, 4, or actual 5 years. There are still organizations that continue or have given that I should use the word privilege to few of their employees to work permanently from home. However, it is also understood that for an employee, it is important to be in touch with the leader, with the group, with the team. Especially, I have been associated with a training domain, right? So if you ask me, I always love to interact. I like to see people when I talk to them, right? So visiting the office. So it's like a hybrid mode. Now, whatever job you come across, they always mention, because that's something that a person likes to understand, right? What is the location? What is the package, the notice period, and how is the mode of working? It is hybrid. How many days? So 2 to 3 days from office, and the other days you can work from home. So that's how the planning could happen. So if you ask me, this is good. Okay, so though we got this outcome after COVID, but still, the companies, your managers have been considerate to some extent to give you this kind of flexibility at work, right? And it helps, right? You can plan your activities accordingly. Just a couple of slides before I end this conversation today. Challenges and job market competition. So we spoke about all goods, positive side. If you ask me, is there any kind of challenges or risk? Yes. Wherever there are opportunities, there is a competition, right? So there is an intense competition. There are multiple students, people who want to take up different kind of opportunities in the research domain. okay, related to data entry, clinical data science, PV, CRC, data programming, analyst, etc., etc. What you could do is keep yourself aware, updated with the knowledge trends, most important regulatory requirement. Okay, what is the company or industry wanting from you? Okay, this is one of the favorite questions. Most of the time, the interviewer, they will ask you that you are a fresher. Okay, or where do you see yourself after 5 years? These are very basic common questions. Or why should I hire you? Right? So, or when you write your CV, okay, I have done this, I have done that, right? Are you able to show that confidence? That is important. You understand about the company, you understand what is your role or how you are going to contribute to this entire process of, ensuring that we are contributing to the patient safety. So the role may be PV, the role may be medical writing, the role may be CDM in data science, but understand this basic, whatever you're contributing to ensure patient safety. They should have a good experience. Okay, they should feel confident about sharing their data, exchanging their data, talking about their data, etc., etc. Okay, specialized expertise needed, definitely. There are some kind of roles where they might need maybe some a doctor, an MBBS. So there is some stringent requirement that we need a person with this expertise or this qualification, this education, or some training. Okay, whatever is possible for you, there are lots of trainings, programs, certification which you can acquire, you can learn, right? So you acquire it, and once you acquire it, then there is no hindrance. You go ahead and you can start taking up higher and higher role in your career journey, right? In terms of opportunities, where do you have the opportunities? If you ask me, here in India, there are hardly any cities where clinical research, data management, or these kind of related jobs are not present. Especially if you ask me, in Noida, like Delhi, okay, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, some rare remote places, towards where you will see that there is not much of organization. These are some places where the setup itself or the organization or the industries itself does not exist. But in that cases, this doesn't stop you from taking this opportunity, right? There are so many people that they relocate, they take up the they move to a different city, okay, and they take up this job, right? So that's how you can plan your future, you can plan your career. Networking and building professional network, I think this is something that I have already informed you. So this was one of the webinar where I'm sure that all of you will have lots of take-home message in terms of what you have learned today. Similarly, you should have your active profile on LinkedIn. Keep reading, visiting ICH website, the UMC website. Okay, keep visiting other websites which, or some free YouTube links also. There are some good papers, published article, journals, where scientific journals, pharma, biz, where you will keep learning about what's happening in the pharma healthcare research domain. So this will keep your knowledge high every time, right? So opportunities and growth in India, I think I have already covered this. So I would just want to leave each one of you with the message that there are lots of opportunities, my friend, that are waiting for you. So you just have to ensure that you grab this opportunity. Before that, prepare yourself. Okay, do not let the opportunity go on to the next person, right? Ensure that you are prepared. So preparation is very important. Okay, whatever you learn, take down notes, go through it, research. Guys, nowadays there are so many information which is available. Okay, but with that, I would also like to add that you have to look on authorized website, because if you just look on any open Google link website, you might get some information which is not right. Okay, also with this entire clinical trial data, when people start looking at too much of data, there's some phenomena probably you have heard, which is called as analysis paralysis, right? So in order to ensure that you are not getting into that phenomena or condition or mode, you have to ensure that what you're looking for, how you want to deal with that data, what are you trying to achieve. So that's something which is important related to data. Okay, conclusion and future outlook: continued growth for this industry is something which is going to go on and on and on. See, food, education, okay, hospital, healthcare. you see, and I'm sure we have already seen during pandemic, everything else was stopped, locked down. But we have seen healthcare professional, everyone working, hospitals open, they had to support, right? So these things never will come to a standstill. So there is a continuous growth in your clinical research, and if research is happening, data will be generated, and you would need industries are going to need people to handle this with the integration or support of technologies, ALML, digitalization, all these things. And this is a global demand. This is not going to remain specific in one country. Okay, however, I spoke about opportunities and how good or what is the status of India now, and it really looks bright. Okay, it's just you have to identify what you want to do, acquire that, gain that specialization, training, knowledge, understanding, and then you are all set. Okay, I think that's all for me. I would love to take if there are any questions, but thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. So I think we can take any questions for another 5 minutes. People who are attending can post their questions in YouTube chat.
Yeah, I think we are open for questions. Manoj sir, if any student is having questions, they can post it in YouTube. We are online in YouTube. I think people have very nice feedbacks. We have already posted the feedback form in the group. You can also have any questions if you wanted to have some questions on behalf of students. Suresh Kumar sir, if sir has any questions.
Sir, may I?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please, sir.
On the behalf of my students, I just want to ask one question. Sir, is this opportunity only for the medical and allied health and students? Whatever the eligibility criteria will be there for the students? Because we have the different branches of medical health science. The students who are from other branch sciences, not from science background, but they want to pursue, is there any scopes and opportunity for them? Just like
Yes,
MBA students,
actually,
healthcare management students?
yeah, actually, this clinical data science is a futuristic job. It's an integration of the IT programming with healthcare. So both people can work, but healthcare people, we know more about patient data. And the IT people know more about the programming R and Python. So it's an integration of both. So now rather than hiring two people, they are hiring only one person, either a pharma or a medical or a dental or a life science background, who has a good knowledge on programming as well as on healthcare. So it's a combination of both roles. And this is a future role, sir. This is a future role. Because if you go and talk to a doctors now, saying that, okay, can we use data science to give the prediction that what might be my disease? Because doctors might not predict it, but data science or machine learning can predict it. So now the future is looking like there might be a time where doctors will depend more on systems. Already we are depending more on ChatGPT. Most of information we are taking it from ChatGPT, and most of data content we are pulling it up from the constructive analytics or constructive AIML. So future is data science, sir, and everyone can join in clinical data science.
Thank you so much, sir, for this valuable information.
So we are open for questions. Anyone have any questions in the chat box, they can post it. We are online available in the chat box. You can ask any kind of questions. I think students are very happy. I think more of students are saying it's a great information and great share. We will be sending the certificates very shortly, sir. Once we have received the feedback, those people who completed the feedbacks will be giving the certificate of participation to the students. Okay. Shakti, any questions? Are we waiting or can we close this
No,
session?
sir, there are no questions posted. So I would request Dr. Manoj Kumar, sir, to give the closing remarks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On the behalf of Guru Kasi University, Talwandi Sabo, Bhatinda, Punjab, I, Dr. Manoj Kumar Katwal, Professor and Head, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and everyone for joining this webinar and making it a grand success. I like to thank our worthy and respected dignitaries, officials, guests, faculty member, staffs, and dear most student, each and everyone for joining it and having a profound knowledge about clinical data science. Without you, it was not able to possible to complete. I would like to thank my team members for motivating and joining this webinar. I would like to express my heartiest gratitude to our worthy Chancellor of Guru Kasi University, Sardar Gurlab Singh Sidhu sir, esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. S.K. Baba Madam, esteemed Registrar, Professor Dr. Jagtar Singh Dhiman sir, Dean Pharmacy and Health Allied Sciences, Professor Dr. Angshu Banerjee sir, for providing and supporting this opportunity to conduct this webinar on the behalf of Guru Kasi University, Bhatinda. I would like to express my vote of thanks to our honorable chief guest, Dr. Suresh Kumar sir, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Punjabi University, Patiala, and Secretary, Association of APTI Punjab Branch, for sparing his valuable time and motivating the students about his visionary ideas. I would like to thank Dr. C.S. Mujibuddin sir, CEO and founder of Clinosol Research Private Limited, for sparing his time and providing us a profound knowledge regarding the clinical data management. I would like to thank Dr. Uma Priya, co-founder and director, Clinosol Research Private Limited, for making us aware about lots of things regarding clinical data management system. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Dr. Almas Said Madam, Senior Training Consultant, Clinosol Research Private Limited, for sparing her time and making us aware about the various career opportunity of clinical data management. I would like to thank Dr. Sakti Madam, Senior Manager of Clinical Research Limited, for sparing her time and taking a very wonderful host for this webinar. Thank you, madam, for your this opportunity you have provided me to thank you. I like to thank all dear faculty members, HODs, coordinators, students, staff members, and participants all over India for joining this webinar. I like to thank you each and everyone for sparing your time. Hopefully, you all have gained and profound knowledge regarding clinical data services, clinical research, its management, about career opportunity, and you will definitely have a great success in the future. I wish it was a wonderful and very successful event. All have learned a lot. Have a good day from my side. Now it's over to Madam Sakti. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So we have come to the end of the webinar. A special word of thanks to the organizing team behind the scenes for their meticulous planning, coordination, and also ensuring the seamless conduct of this webinar. So on behalf of Guru Kashi University and Clinosol, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who joined us today for the insightful clinical data science webinar. Let us carry forward the knowledge and insights gained from this webinar to drive positive change and innovation in the field of clinical data science. Together, let us continue to collaborate, learn, and strive towards a healthier and more data-driven future. Thank you once again to everyone who participated and contributed to this webinar. We look forward to seeing you at the future events. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir, for sharing a wonderful knowledge to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Manoj, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Mujib, Uma. Have a good day.